welcome back to the show. My name is Amy. I'm glad you spent the time. I upload at least 2 videos every day on issues around motherhood and parenting. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the safety of our children online. Yes, I'm talking about all the babies today, not the young ones like I'm usually talking about them. And before I get into it, something just ran through my mind right now. Children, girls especially at age 10, is it 10 to 13 or something like that in Kenya, are currently being given a vaccine, HPV vaccine. Yes, yes, yes. I said papilloma, I don't know. HPV, which is supposed to prevent cervical cancer. Check with your child if they're 10 to 13 years old. Just check with them if they've been given or if you approve or something like that. Don't miss out on things the government is giving for free. Is it for free? Is it for free? Yes, at least our taxes have gone to that side. In this episode, I'm going to talk about your safety, the safety of your child online. How safe is your child? As your child, my almost 2-year-old is already knows how to maneuver himself around YouTube. So I have YouTube Kids because I realize YouTube, even though some let's not choma to see chome. There's YouTube for YouTube Kids. But my child can maneuver himself around the internet. He's not even 2 years of age. So what about you? You're a teenager. Do they have a phone? Have you bought them a phone or they have a tablet and something like that? How safe are they online? In this episode, I'm just going to share with you a few tips, things you could know that you could look at your child and know that they are going through some form of sexual exploitation. That's what I'm talking about, some form of sexual exploitation, because you never know. You never know what your children are getting exposed to. You need to be very careful. And here are some tips and things you could look at when you want to read sexual exploitation from your children, or if you want to have this conversation with your teenage girls or teenage boys, or just about your children who already are using internet. This discussion, some of the things you could talk to them about. Okay, did you know that your child, innocent as she looks or he looks, could be manipulated to produce, distribute, and use sexual information online? Did you know? Have you thought about it? Ebu, stop and think about it. How will they be used? How might they be used to produce, access, and distribute sexual information online? Number one, they could be groomed. They could be groomed. There's something that used to happen me kitambo before I became wiser. When I just joined Facebook like this, there are these strangers from, do we say, these weird people from, is it, is it these countries, India, Korea. I've not said they are from those countries. Gosh, I've not said all the people from those countries. They are very lovely. My very lovely friends are Indians, Asians. Let me say Asian countries. Some of them, yes, Asian countries. I have very good Asians as friends. But there are some of them who online would disturb you, send attachments to you, and you want to say, you don't even know somebody, and they're calling. There's one who up to date still video calls me. I've refused to pick his calls because you can answer that call and you've received shock of your life. The shock of your life, old as I am, I'm talking about shockers of my life. What about your 7-year old? What about your 7-year old? So it could take the form of grooming. Someone starts as a friend, yeah, they start communicating to you. One day they say, let's do a video call. I'm telling you what you could use to tell your children. Grooming. This is grooming. A stranger, especially from the Asian countries, calling you, friending you, telling you, wow, 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 1, 2, 3. By the way, you should only accept friend requests of people you know. One way or the other, you should accept friend requests of people you know. It's become very dangerous online. It's become very dangerous. So one day they say, let's video call. Imagine your 7-year-old or your 13-year-old or your 15-year-old accepts the video call, and the first thing they meet is a man's penis, for example. Yes, and this man is bald. You know, that is the way some demons work. Some children will get excited to see it. They'll be like, what? Although their spirit is telling them this is wrong, they'll just stick there. They'll just stick there to see, what? So what? And then you never know. Your child could be interested to see it again and again and again. That is just one thing, grooming. Grooming. Another thing is what young people joke around. They call it sexting. Yeah, sexting, texting, sexting, something like that. Don't people just someone like already your child has been groomed to it, now they're into it, then somebody just starts sending send me your nudes, something like that, or something. And your girl, if they find approval at that place, or your boy finds approval from that place, they will send it. They'll say, just show me a little piece of your titty, for example. Yes, and your girl or your boy is doing that already, or someone showed your child their manhood the other side, and your child feels pushed to do the same because they think this is your friend. They think this is their friend. Yes, let me say, think this is their friend, or probably that is the only place they get to share their whole day. Probably mama is not around, but I'm not saying mama not being around could be the reason. Lots of things happen on social media. Someone has groomed your child, and before you know it, they start sexting and sending very vulgar things online, and they do so. And they get to a point where you've heard of children. How do you think some children left their parents' home? They were sent fair. They were sent fair. They went, and then you saw your child has been used to produce child pornography. I don't think all those children who have produced child pornographic material knew they were doing that. And your child could don't get shocked. Every child is vulnerable. Literally every child. Don't say not my child. Every child is vulnerable. So it gets to a point, this friend who started by being kind, grooming them, video calling them, and then first video call was just friendly. Second video call became nasty, a little nasty, and nasty became nasty. It got to a point they would use someone who doesn't really care. Si mtu anitumie fare kwa namba yako. Then they go. Once they get there, they're trapped. They're forced into things they never expected. Your child thought they were going to get soda and chips. Of course, they got soda and chips, and then some more was asked from them. And as they were doing it, the child did not know it was being recorded. Pew! There are people somewhere sitting, waiting to pay to see child pornography. In this world, though, in this world, parents, yes, your child is not going to be a victim if you are informed. Your child is not going to be a victim. So you should know, at least just once in a while, peep through what your children are doing online. So what are you going to do about it just in case? Just in case your child is not there yet. How would you know? Just in case your child is not there yet, you might want to talk to them about these things and tell them, number one, girls and boys. So number one, my girl, don't share personal information with a stranger online. Don't. A stranger online asks about your school, asks about your age, asks how many people you are in the family, asks about what you ate today. This is not your friend. Please don't share. You could tell your child not to share personal information with strangers online, because that is how some of these wicked people out here start grooming children. Is that all right? Because that is how, if your child was, maybe if they got to a stage where they started doing online sharing of nudes and something like that, if they had shared their personal information, and your child maybe gets that sense of, I should stop doing this person could use that personal information to blackmail them, sort of, to send more. If you don't send more, I'm gonna call your head teacher, I'm going to call, things like that. Number two, this brings me to number two. Tell your child not to share anything online that they will not be proud. They will not want you to know. They will not want their parents to know, or they will not want their teacher to know. You could tell your children, don't share anything online you don't want me to know. It's for your own, it's for your own safety. Have I broken this thing? Let me stop playing with my baby's things. Yeah, you could. Hi guys, sorry, this is going to be interfered with. This is going to be my children. Both my children have woken up and I need to pay attention to them. But I'm going to finish this in the next video. So please, watch the next video to know the continuation. It should be called part B or something like that, continuation of this. Bye. See you in the next one. Bye.